All right, Mandalorian recap. Episode 5 of Season 2, Episode 13, Chapter 13 overall. It's Thanksgiving week, so we're doing this remotely. This will be the first of a few, I'm sure, in the next couple weeks as people go home. So we can watch these from the comfort of our not New York apartments. And this one was pretty insane. It was pretty fucking wild. I think if you're not a Star Wars fan, you probably enjoyed it. I'm gonna go. I have a little bit of a hunch. I think first of all, major spoilers, just immediately off the top.
Obviously,
major. If you have not seen it yet, tune out now. You have 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back. Spoilers. I think even if you're not a huge Star Wars fan. Like I think the samurai type action, the lightsabers, like that'll be familiar to people. Like it's a badass episode. A lot of cool action, some great scenes, cool moments, some Western vibes too. This is like one of the most Western things we've gotten in The Mandalorian. But if you are a Star Wars fan, double that. Like if you're a big Star Wars fan, double the excitement because we finally get to see in live action Ahsoka Tano, the most important Star Wars character who has not been in live action. So the debut there was Rosario Dawson. Those were the rumors, but to see it is kind of a different, cool vibe. We get teased another character who I don't think anyone expected to be in Mandalorian, and the character may not be in Mandalorian. Very well may not.
Yeah,
might be a spinoff. That could be the case. However, that one, there's been a couple moments in this series that I've actually gone, oh, whoa, that was one of them. I said out loud, like, oh, okay. Did not think that through. I mean, I thought she's looking. I'll jump a little ahead. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but she's looking for this person's master, Ahsoka Tano is, and I just assumed they meant Moff Gideon. I assumed they meant Giancarlo Esposito. And so when they said what they said, it's taken aback a bit.
You want to talk about beloved Star Wars characters that don't have a live-action rendition yet? That guy's one of them.
THRAWN is kind of my like white whale. In terms of live action, it's one of the first toys that I got, an expanded universe one. It's an awesome toy. And then like you saw him in the books and stuff, and like the THRAWN trilogies and shit, which were for a lot of people the sequel trilogy books for years. Like that was the sequel trilogy for years, was the THRAWN trilogy. And then he was in Star Wars Rebels from Dave Filoni, the animated series. So yeah, to get THRAWN's name thrown out there. And if you don't know anything about Grand Admiral THRAWN, we'll give you a little primer later on in the episode. But first, off the top, good. I imagine we all like this episode. We've all kind of talked a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I stayed up until 3 a.m. again last night. This felt like one of those big ones where it was like, all right, listen, if you're going to stay up for any of them, it's going to be this one. I don't have work tomorrow. You know, we'll do the recap and then I'll take a nap afterwards or something. And I was telling KenJac right before we started recording, the thing that I was worried about the most was Ahsoka looking stupid. I was like, I think we're getting Ahsoka in this episode. I've seen so many different fan art concepts of what she may look like in live action. Some of them look fantastic. Some of them look really silly.
I would say most don't look good.
Yeah,
I agree. And I was worried about that because if she didn't look good, if she looked a little silly, I feel like non-Star Wars fans or non-hardcores that don't know her character would have a harder time buying into what a badass she is, how awesome she is, her character's legacy. And the second I saw her in that intro, I was relieved. I let out a sigh of relief. I was like, oh my God, she looks so awesome. Her lightsabers looked amazing. The intro was kind of like Rise of Skywalker-esque to me in the forest ambush they did, kind of Game of Thrones-esque even when she walks up on like the big wall. But amazing intro. I love the way she looked. I love the way she sounded. And I even like whipped my phone out. I'll send you the video, Jeff, so maybe you could insert it. I was just, my jaw dropped and I just took like a 10-second video of myself reacting to her slicing motherfuckers up with lightsabers.
I agree with the fan art thing is always funny because it'll be like, this is what Brad Pitt would look like as Venom. And it's like shit like that always. And you're like, it's terrible. Like, people, I give them credit. They do cool artwork, but usually the fan art, it gives you like a bit of pause. And I think a lot of the Ahsoka ones did that, but I agree. I thought looked good. They did a good job.
Not even just how she looked, but I think the way that she fought, because Ahsoka in Clone Wars fights so kinetically, and that's not a big problem in animated series because it's like, you know, you could just do that because it's animated. But the way they had her fighting, like jumping all over the place, which we don't really see from in recent Star Wars stuff, like with Rey versus Kylo, like they all fight very close to the ground. But seeing her fight so like with so much agility and it looking so real and like not like CGI-ish or fake, that was fucking awesome. The whole episode was great. Like you were mentioning, the samurai Western vibes, especially the part towards the end where you have a samurai duel and a Western standoff happening at the same fucking time, like 10 feet away from each other. It's awesome. So much of this was so great on its own independent mode. And I think some of the exposition here got maybe a little bit more heavy-handed than in the other ones. Like, you know how we would say it's like infrared to some Star Wars fans, maybe a little on the heavier side this episode, but I almost like that. This is from Filoni. Filoni's the guy who appeals to us Star Wars fans, and this is his episode. So I love that it was a little bit more for us, you know?
Yeah, Dave Filoni directing. Dave Filoni is basically the creator of Ahsoka, and that's been his like baby. That's been his story for years with Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and now this. He gets introduced her in live action. That has to be a cool moment for him. Let's talk about it though. Before we get into the episode, here's just a quick kind of recap on who Ahsoka Tano is. If you don't know who this is, if you love Mandalorian, if you watch today and you're like, who the fuck is that? Who is that person with the white lightsabers? Two of them, mind you, which is, I talk about that, two, well, just the fact, live action, two lightsabers it's just so cool to see. We've seen, I know we've seen Anakin them too, but it was fulfilling.
And he got
one of them's waterproof, by the way, because at the end of this, she might just have one now.
True.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that was a question I didn't put on the sheet here today, but someone say our lightsaber's waterproof. I guess so. Yeah. Rundown of who Ahsoka Tano is. Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. So Ahsoka is to Anakin what Anakin was to Obi-Wan, right? Being trained. And they had a very early on love-hate relationship. He called her Snips, very father-daughter-esque, but then eventually became more brother-sister. And they're very strong in the Force, but they're also very strong in their ways of curiosity. She's a curious Jedi. She's a strong Jedi, but very curious user of the Force. In the same ways that, you know, a lot of Jedi will be like the tunnel vision, like robe wearing, we don't have sex type vision. Anakin, again, always questioning things. So was Ahsoka. They were very, very much alike. And they encountered a lot of very important Force and Jedi things along the way. I won't go into it. You can see a lot more in detail with Clone Wars and Rebels all on Disney+. But again, they've had a lot of very important run-ins with things around the Force and with Jedi. And the more and more she grew, the more she began to question things along with Anakin and not totally fall in line with the Jedi Order, kind of break and bend the rules to win battles or to achieve what they needed to achieve. She was maybe a little less angry than Anakin. Anakin had a lot of pent-up anger, but she did kind of fall out of line as much as Anakin did. She took after her master. She was very good friends with some clone troopers, specifically Captain Rex, who we might see. He will obviously look like Boba Fett. He'll look like Jango Fett. We might see Captain Rex in Mandalorian. She was set up towards the end of Star Wars Clone Wars, the series Clone Wars, for bombing the Jedi Temple. She was eventually exonerated, but it kind of forced her out. She was not really into the way they handled it. She was put off by it. She's like, I don't really see the ways of the Jedi right now, the ways things are run. It's more corrupt than you guys really understand. I know we're fighting bad guys, but I think both sides may not be very great. So she left the Jedi Order. Still a Force user, but this is a very key part of even this Mandalorian episode. She is not a Jedi. She's not a Jedi, but she is a Force user. She eventually was tracked down by Bo-Katan towards the end of the Star Wars Clone Wars series. Bo-Katan, who we met in The Mandalorian, she is a Mandalorian herself. And Bo-Katan asked Ahsoka to go help her remove Darth Maul as the ruler of Mandalore. They do that. There's a fucking awesome battle. Very much worth a watch if you haven't seen it. One of the coolest Star Wars lightsaber battles. Ahsoka then survived Order 66, the same order that Anakin kind of helped lead with the Emperor as they wiped out all or most of the Jedi. And then she went into hiding, but eventually joined the rebellion. She joined the rebellion under a code name Fulcrum, and that's where we see her in another series done by Dave Filoni, who directed this episode of Mandalorian, co-created Mandalorian with Jon Favreau. We see her in Rebels fighting alongside the rebellion. She duels Darth Vader at one point, ends up surviving that duel, Another complicated thing that you can definitely check out Rebels and see how she survived that. So the last time we saw Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars, as the story of Star Wars, she was along with another Mandalorian named Sabine Wren, a very important character in the history of Mandalore. Clan Wren, another important clan in terms of Mandalorian culture and as a people. Sabine knows Bo-Katan very well, so I assume we'll see Sabine Wren at some point during the series. We just met Bo-Katan a few episodes ago. But those two were searching for a Jedi named Ezra Bridger, who is the main character in the Star Wars Rebels animated series, again, also done by Dave Filoni, who did Star Wars The Clone Wars and directed this episode of The Mandalorian. So we had seen Ahsoka. We knew she was alive between the time of like A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. We just haven't known anything about what she's up to since then until today's episode. And we start off in this episode on Corvus, a planet, Colodan of like the Corvus system, I think. I may have got that wrong. Newer planet, though. They go right into it. There's some rumors like, are they going to have like a cliffhanger at the end? She going to be introduced halfway through? No, it was like the first shot of the episode, which is insane. Did not expect that. She's fighting off some mercenaries, kills them with the Force, does a really cool one. She cuts a tree in half and fucking Force pulls the tree and kills somebody. We had seen that before. That was pretty neat. And then she approaches this wall, like Robbie said, this Game of Thrones-esque wall. This character, Morgan Elsbeth, we learn her name, is the Magistrate. She lost a lot of people in the Clone Wars, and then she used that anger to help build the Imperial Starfleet. And Ahsoka threatens her. The Magistrate threatens her back. Like, I'll kill all these civilians. Like, I don't give a shit about any of these pores, basically. She's like, I'm the ruler. Like, I can do what I want. And then Ahsoka says, no, I'll be back in a day. You have a day to fix this shit and tell me what I want.
Very Luke-esque. There's a lot of Luke vibes in this episode.
Actually.
That's another Luke reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
very much him in Jabba's palace.
And we will get to Luke. Is Luke? They might be implying Luke. They might be implying Ezra at points of the episode. We'll get to what we think our predictions are. Mando then arrives on the planet as after the title card of the episode. He immediately goes into town with Baby Yoda. There's people being tortured. It's clearly a suppressed town. Things are not very good, which is kind of the hint you can get why Ahsoka's there. Mando talks to some locals, but then he's summoned by the Magistrate, and he goes into this really like nice like Zen with like ponds, and it's a much more calm area where the Magistrate is, and she's like, look, I got a Jedi problem. I need you to kill a Jedi. And he even says in the beginning of the episode, like, I haven't had many run-ins with a Jedi. I'm not familiar with the Jedi. Like, I've never really ran into them before. He's just like having convos with Baby Yoda about this on the way there. And she says, I'll give you this staff, which at first I was like, a stick? Like, she's going to give him a stick, but it's made of Beskar, which is a lot of Beskar. It's obviously what his armor is made of.
It's more like a spear.
Here, if you defeat the Jedi, Ahsoka Tano, I'll give you this spear.
It's a very interesting line here where she says, like, considering you're a Mandalorian, you should want to kill a Jedi, right? And he's just like, yeah, sure. But like he kind of like walks it off. I feel like there's going to be a point later where he's going to like kind of learn more about the history between the Mandalorian and the Jedi and like the hatred there, and that's going to have a part to play. Again,
not like a key thing to know, but if you've seen the other Star Wars series, you know that Mandalorian and Jedi, they were friends at one point, kind of friends now, but for the most part, they've had a very tumultuous relationship over the years. And I think some people just assume they're still don't really like. And even Ahsoka did help Bo-Katan in Clone Wars, but she really wasn't a Jedi. She was a Force user, so it still kind of remains that way. So Mando's like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll go. I mean, that was like, what a free pass that was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go do the thing that you need to do anyway. So Mando's looking for her, and then he gets kind of attacked by Ahsoka. She flies in with the lightsabers. Very cool to see that Beskar doesn't just really, I mean, it's a weapon that counters lightsabers.
Yeah, it could block lightsabers from striking it, basically. It can't go through it.
Ahsoka going kill first, ask questions later. Like, she didn't even want to know what he was there for. He might not have even been from the town, just a random stranger.
She had no time. Yeah, she had no time. And then he does the smart thing, and he's like, hey, Ahsoka Tano, like, I know who you are. I'm literally looking for you. She stops. And this was my question. I was like, what is she going to do when she sees Baby Yoda? She knows, first of all, actually, pause. Yaddle. Talk about a character just fucking disrespected. Disrespect. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But I was like, what is she going to say? Like, she knows Yoda. Not just like knows of Yoda. She knew Yoda. Like, friends with him. Like, I've known him for years.
Fought alongside him on multiple occasions.
Yeah, she's not gonna look at that thing and not just go, "Oh fuck, that's Yoda. That's a
Yoda. Yeah,
that's a baby Yoda." And she does basically. That's it. And I appreciated that. The first thing she does, he's like, "I'm here to talk to you," and she's like, "I hope it's about that thing." That's Yoda.
Yeah.
Like
such a great kind of funny Ahsoka line. She breaks the tension immediately with a comedic line about how cute Yoda is, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Rosario doing the Ahsoka thing. This is great."
She sounds so much like Ahsoka. It's crazy. Like that was another thing I'm worried about with like
Ahsoka's
that adaptation.
Voice, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not Ahsoka's voice, but that was another thing I was worried about with the live action adaptation. Is like, how do you capture that same cadence and voice? But I think Rosario Dawson nailed it.
Yeah, Ashley Eckstein does the voice in the animated series. There is a difference there, and she is a more comedic character. That is something worth noting. I mean, the show aired on Nickelodeon and it aired on Disney. Like, it's definitely it's a more kiddish show, but it does have some fairly.
Her life did get much darker after Clone Wars.
It just ran. It started getting like really dark too. You're like, oh wow, this is just not a kid show. Very enjoyable if you're Star Wars. If you haven't seen those.
And another Luke reference, I think, when what do you call it? When she gets attacked by Mandalorian, or she attacks Mandalorian, or Mando rather. He fucking hits her with the rope thing, like the rope trap, which looks just like when Boba. Gets Luke with it. It's almost like the exact same weird like animation where like the arm snaps before the thing comes in. It's very similar. There's so many Luke references in this episode. It's really weird to me. I wonder why. We're gonna find out, I think, though.
Ahsoka links with Baby Yoda. They kind of sit down. We don't hear Baby Yoda talk. There was a moment where I was like, "Oh my god, is he about to fucking speak?" I got
like
worried.
A really deep voice.
That there's not much that can like really ruin the show for me because like I just have such a good time with it. But I was like, man, if he speaks, that'd be really weird. I don't know if I could live with him speaking. So they link, and she does. Very unexpected reveal. His name is Grogu. He's got a name, which we knew he had a name, but she says Grogu, and you're like, wait, is that his name? And then she just confirms it. She's like, yeah, his name is Grogu. And even Mando's like, what the fuck?
Little gooey.
Yeah, his name is, which KenJac and I talked about it a little bit. Like, I'm fine with it. Like, I'm not like naming my dog Grogu now, but like, if you would put out 5 names and been like, which one do you think they picked for Baby Yoda? I would have picked the one that had goo at the end of it. Like, that just makes complete sense.
It sounds like one, we were saying that it sounds like almost one like, hey, think of a Star Wars name off the top of your head. Like right now on the spot. I would say Grogu. Like that's something I got to sound like.
I think it works. It's going to take everyone like a week or two to get used to.
Yeah.
But Yoda, Grogu, it's one of those it sounds like an alien
short name. Yep.
Almost sounds like
Yoda. You could call him Goo, whatever.
Yeah. And it almost sounds like Gogurt, and which is kind of funny because of the Spaceballs Yoda parody being called Yogurt.
Which I don't know. Honestly, they referenced Star Wars Family Guy last week, so who knows? Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I hit up Alex Sulkin about that, and he had not yet seen it. I was like, "Are you caught up on Mandalorian?" He was like, "No, why? Is it good?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, they're putting your jokes in it, bro. You should check it out."
You should probably check it out. They're referencing you. So Ahsoka then reveals a lot of information that we've never known about Grogu, aka Baby Yoda. She says he was raised in the Jedi Temple. He had many masters. He did not just have one. And then during the Clone Wars, he was hidden. He was hidden after the Clone Wars, basically. We don't know who hit him. Lot up for grabs there. We'll get to that at the end of this recap, and we'll give our predictions. But he suppressed his powers over the years a lot to hide. Very smart. He's a smart dude, Baby Yoda, Grogu. But she revealed a lot of information. And then she did say that one thing. She said, I've only known one being similar. Yaddle. Did she not know Yaddle?
Met him or something. I don't know.
Damn.
Man. She was a fucking Jedi Master.
Must have not known Yaddle.
The disrespect to Yaddle. It's the same species as Yoda.
Maybe
insane.
Yaddle was the VP of Human Resources or something. Like you know most of the higher ups at your company, but you just don't know certain departments. You're just like, I don't know the guy who runs IT.
George took Yaddle out of Star Wars after Episode 1. Maybe he just really hates Yaddle.
Yeah,
he may just despise Yaddle, and he's like, I don't want. And Filoni knows. Ahsoka tests out his skills as a Jedi. He's not really. He's still very young, like smart, but still very young. Can't do it. And then she tells Mando, "You try it." He doesn't do it, but then Mando, she's like, "Make a connection." So he takes that ball from his ship, from the lever in his ship, and Baby Yoda immediately able to make it levitate. We saw him do it with the macaroons last week. Just now they sell those, by the way, for $50 at Williams-Sonoma. Go figure. And so she's impressed. She says he's very strong with the Force. Mando's pumped. He's like, it's like a little kid like playing catch for the first time. He goes, "Oh, great job, bud. Way to go."
He is proud of him in front of
Yeah.
Ahsoka. He's like, yeah, that's
But
my
that's
fucking
kind of
kid.
It's
the
almost
key.
like he just got accepted to like the private school, university or something. You know, he's
Yeah.
like so pumped.
That's the key, though, is Ahsoka's like, your connection's way too strong with him. I can't train you. And she's essentially alluding to Anakin and Padme. That's basically what she's talking about. She's like, I've seen this before. I've seen connections like this lead to dark places. He's got fear, any anger. Like, this will just lead to bad things. I can't train him because that's, again, remember, very big key here. She's not a Jedi. She doesn't recognize herself as a Jedi anymore. She's a very strong Force user, but she's not a Jedi. And training Grogu, Baby Yoda, is just, that's just going against like what she now believes, because that's a part of what cast her aside, and she didn't want to be a part of it anymore. She saw Anakin fall for Padme. She saw what
Was it Padme or was it Shmi? Because Shmi, I think, is the bigger
Shmi,
thing here
yeah.
in this case,
Could
because
be
that he had
Shmi,
his
yeah.
connection to her. Remember how they kept saying, "I'm not going to train Anakin.
Probably-
He's too old. He's too old." He has this connection, a very obviously deep connection to his mother that led him
Right.
down the dark path in the first place. So Obi-Wan told her, I remember in Clone Wars, about the story about his mother and how his mother got killed by Tusken Raiders and like what happened regarding that, and like his life as a
Well, there you
slave.
go. I didn't remember
So
that.
might be
That
it.
helps a lot. So yeah, it's either one or the other or both, but it's definitely in the vicinity of Padme or Shmi, and that
Yeah,
is
connection
enough
is the
for
point.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is enough for her to be like, you two are too close. I just
Shmi.
can't train. Shmi.
Great job on that one, George.
But Mando does get her to agree to something. He's like, look, I need your help with the child. Like, my only thing is right here. I was supposed to bring it to a Jedi. That's all I was supposed to do. Bo-Katan sent me. And she agrees to like help him out if he, in exchange, helps her go to the city and either kill the magistrate or get the information that she needs. She needs to find out about a master. And they kind of joke a little bit. They're like, Mandalorian and a Jedi. Nobody would expect that. And that's kind of a wink nod, because obviously she's worked with Bo-Katan before. She's worked with Mandalorians. Ahsoka has, and we know about all of their history together.
Another line where she says, what do you call it? Mando says, like, even your laser sword isn't going to help versus all these people. That's a line Luke said in The Last
Yeah.
Jedi.
So we're back at the wall in the front of the town, the city or whatever, and the mercenaries ring the bell. They hit the gong because they see Ahsoka's running into the city, and now she's not even fighting outside. She just leaps on in. Some crazy kills, hits someone in the face with a gun, slices the bell in half. I thought the bell killed the person, but she absolutely went through it and then slashed the other person in half behind it. So a couple cool kills. Bell falls off the tower. Awesome entrance for Ahsoka. That pulls out the magistrate and and her, I guess, bodyguard, her named Lang. Might be someone you recognize if you're a fan of the Terminator franchise. We'll talk about that cameo.
Or Alien.
Or Alien, yeah. So they get pulled out of the little hiding area by the ponds and shit, and then magistrate's like, go get her, just fucking kill her. Like, I've had enough of this Jedi. She sends out these assassin droids, her guy Lang. They go off in the distance. Then she hides back, and as she does it, she says, kill these prisoners, the prisoners that Mando saw in the beginning. And as they're about to be killed, Mando jetpacks in, kills a bunch of the mercenaries, and now Ahsoka's being chased around the city. Again, some more crazy kills, leaping from building to building, like KenJac mentioned. She's very graceful, and it's a more prequel-y vibe than we've seen with Jedi in a long time, because after those movies, like these sequel movies, they're more grounded Jedi, more kind of raw and rugged. They don't really have those skills. They don't have the finesse. But you do see that a lot with
Acrobatics,
Ahsoka.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, leaping from building to building. And then she basically kills everybody except for Lang, who's at the center of town with the Western-style standoff with Mando, as Ahsoka leaps in to the hideaway area and goes face-to-face with Morgan Elsbeth, the magistrate. So two things happen. One, there's a standoff. They kind of talk back and forth, Lang trying to get Mando to stand down. He's like, someone's going to win from the fight in there. He's like, either my person's going to win or your person's going to win. Eventually, he tries the old move. Who doesn't see this coming? Where he surrenders and puts his weapon down, and then goes for a blaster in his back pocket. But Mando's like, "Are you fucking serious?" Shoots him, does the little gun twirl, puts it back in his holster. It was great. It was.
I love that Mando saw it coming. It reminds me of, like, sometimes in wrestling you just need a squash match, which is you need the guy that everyone knows is great to beat a little local entertainer in 2 seconds, just to remind everyone, listen, this is how badass he is. I love that Mando is always ahead of the game, always like shooting first, always, you're not getting one over on him. And this, two things about this. One, the sound design on the whole scene was incredible when they were cutting back and forth between the Beskar staff and lightsaber battle and then Mando and them watching it from a distance. And two, it felt so huge. It felt almost a New Hope-esque when they're watching like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan have their lightsaber battle. And it felt good for what it was. This being the first Ahsoka episode, I was like, man, Dave Filoni knows how to make something feel like a finale, something feel like a spectacle. He did it with the end of the Clone Wars, right? Yep. And that's what this felt like to me. It was like a mid-season finale, if you will.
Very great Western vibes where he's backing down Mando and he's trying to tell him, he's like, yeah, we're a lot alike, you and me, while he's getting closer with his little shotgun and stuff. And in the meantime, you go, I love the duality of having that samurai battle versus the Western battle, because obviously Western draws so much from samurai stuff, and the samurai battle taking so many prequel-y vibes to it, you know, the disrobing and then the fucking pacing back and forth. Dude, what a great goddamn, that like whatever that was, like 7 minutes of action was incredible.
Her lightsaber sound effects are fucking awesome. So that whole thing,
she did the thing. She did the thing.
She did the thing.
She pulls the lightsabers out of each other almost.
They went on simultaneously. So that was the Western standoff. Mando wins that, whatever. The one inside, that was cool. But the one inside, some people said like Avatar: Last Airbender, Kill Bill immediately came to mind.
Yeah, Kill Bill was for me.
Anything Kurosawa. It was fucking awesome. Basically, Morgan Elsbeth takes the Beskar spear or whatever it is. Spear?
It was a spear.
Staff
It had a tip.
Spear, yeah.
Staff spear, and fights Ahsoka with it because it can repel a lightsaber. We've never really seen a fight like in that setting, in that location. It was basically a lightsaber fight. It was fucking awesome. Dueling back and forth. She's a pretty good swordsman, that
she was
Morgan
good.
Elsbeth, but it's Ahsoka
Least
Tano.
Star Wars-y name maybe ever, by the way.
That's why I keep fucking it up, because I keep thinking that's it. It's like,
it's also weird that that's the samurai name too. That sounds like a Western name.
Yeah, right. It's like her name's not Morpo Plorpo. It's Morgan Elsbeth. Like how
in the same episode of Grogu and Lang, you get Morgan Elsbeth. So again, an awesome battle. Go back and forth. Elsbeth kind of gets a little hand up at one point because you have Ahsoka losing the lightsaber into like the little pond area. Look, it's like a koi pond, basically. That's like what it's going
wasn't Otterboxed. That thing's fucked.
Yeah, that lightsaber might be waterlogged. Put it in rice. But eventually, again, it's Ahsoka. She wins out. She knocks the spear out of Elsbeth's hand, gets her up close to the lightsaber, the classic lightsaber in the face, like, I'm about to kill you. And she says, where is your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? Which was like, damn. Right. Like, okay. Like, wow. So they're going to bring Thrawn into this, which we'll get to Thrawn in a second. We'll do the same thing we did with Ahsoka. We'll do with Thrawn in a second. Anyway, the town celebrates. They won the war. They win the war.
Another RTJ Luke-y reference. That music at the end was so fucking Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, the Return of the Jedi is obviously the most referenced thing in The Mandalorian, or at least
it really is the most referenced movie.
Yeah. So the town celebrates. Ahsoka gives Mando the Beskar spear. He's like, I didn't really win this. And she's like, doesn't matter. This is for you. It's better off in your hands. This is the Mandalorian thing. And there's a key there that she clearly respects Mandalorians. And there's a different connection that she has as a Force user than maybe he expects and other people who would know the Jedi Mandalorian thing expects. He attempts to go say goodbye to Baby Yoda, which there was never a moment where I thought he was about to say goodbye to Baby Yoda.
Come on.
But I
Grogu,
thought
no chance.
I thought Moff Gideon, because remember, they're being tracked. Like, Mando's ship is being tracked. I thought Gideon was going to fly and it was ending a cliffhanger. Really what happens is Ahsoka's like, no, I can't. Like, she's like, I cannot train him. You just have too much of a connection. I don't have that in me. And she says, head to TYTHON, which is TYTHON, which is a very famous Star Wars planet in expanded universe lore, has a little bit of history in Star Wars canon. It's a very Force-heavy, Jedi-heavy planet, and we'll talk about it here in a minute. She said, go there, ancient ruins, Jedi temples, have him sit atop a seeing stone and let Grogu choose his own path. And if he does choose the right path, or not the right path, but chooses the path of the Jedi, there could be someone who comes looking for him. A Jedi may come look for him. Who is that? I don't know. We'll get to that here in a minute when we get to question. But that is the episode, action-packed episode. Again, the two takeaways, Western, Samurai, very cool blend. Bravo to Dave Filoni. Again, congrats to him for getting to fucking do this.
Yeah.
Like
Shout out to him for
he's
this
got to be over
episode.
the moon. Got to be over the moon. And there's a couple moments too, even when she's like, it's kind of like this like action thriller vibe where she's running through this dark town. She keeps popping out with the lightsabers. And that's another style that we haven't seen in live action because you typically only see that in Clone Wars is her style of fighting where it's kill, and then put the lightsaber away. And then she draws a lightsaber for every kill, basically. So it's neat to see Ahsoka do that. Easter eggs, though. Grand Admiral Thrawn. Very quick run through on him. He's a blue guy.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know who he is, you may have seen this guy. He is a very, very popular Star Wars character, not in the movies. Blue guy, blue face. His species is the Chiss. He once linked up with Anakin Skywalker, even. And the canon, the lore behind this is that he linked up with Anakin above Batuu, the Disney World planet, the Disneyland planet.
That's right.
Yeah, they looked for Padme. Eventually, he joined the Galactic Empire. He joined the Galactic Empire as kind of like it was a two-pronged approach. It was either going to be to weaken them if he didn't like them, or join if he aligned with their beliefs. He did. He was brought to the Emperor Palpatine, and he very, very quickly became an incredibly calculated, manipulative, and powerful Grand Admiral. He is like basically the greatest war general in all of Star Wars. Nobody is better at tactical maneuvers than him. They even teased
Remember that
it.
spider bitch from Clone Wars? Do you remember that
Oh,
motherfucker?
fuck that guy.
Everyone was like,
Yeah.
Trench. Grand Admiral Trench.
Admiral
Trent.
Trench, yeah. They did not. Yeah, the spider did not survive to live action.
Thrawn is
but
like him times 500. He's way better.
And even when they introduced him into Star Wars Rebels, they noted like something's up with the Imperials. The Empire they're better now. Like they're winning battles, and it's because of Thrawn. He's just that good. He's incredible. He's Star Wars Hitler. Like it's just basically what he is.
He
Being honest,
very, very SS vibes to him.
He's the most
Yeah.
hateable Star Wars character, like right off the bat. You even look at him and you're like, look at that douche. What is he? Who does he think he is?
He just screams villain. Again, he long hunted the characters in Star Wars Rebels: Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, Harrison Dula, Kanan Jarrus, and we've seen a lot of him. But the last time we saw him was a bit of a cliffhanger. And he said many run-ins with Jedis too. Many run-ins with Jedi. He was taken to an unknown place or region along with Ezra Bridger. Ezra Bridger, a Jedi, young Jedi, trapped him in the final episode of Rebels. And they got sent off into hyperspace into some unknown region or place. So we have no idea where he's been since then. That was right before A New Hope. This is 9 years later. Don't know where he went. Don't know what he's up to. Is he with Ezra? That's probably the big question everyone has. And again, we'll get to that when we get to questions. Who the Jedi may be who goes after Baby Yoda, Grogu. But Thrawn, a lot of question marks. He was always a bit of a loner too. Like he did his own thing. That's why the Emperor trusted him. He did his own fucking thing. He knew what he was doing. And he was really doing it for his people, for the Chiss as a people. So he may have broken off from the Empire. We don't know. But it sounds like we're either going to see him this season or in a spinoff involving Ahsoka, which we do know we're going to get an Ahsoka spinoff. So that could be where we see him. But that's the quick run through on Grand Admiral Thrawn. Just a very powerful Imperial officer. But he's long before they introduced him into canon, because he wasn't part of canon until they brought him into Rebels. He was in the book series that we mentioned at the beginning of this episode. He's a very well-known, for big Star Wars fans, character. So hearing his name, pretty big.
I highly doubt he ends up being part of the Mandalorian. I think that was very clear setup for the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, I think it probably. I do think she's coming back though. Like I don't think it's the last.
Ahsoka, yes, but I don't think Thrawn is going to be
in the show.
introduced.
Yeah, I think that'll be definitely her storyline.
TYTHON, one of the first Jedi temples was there. That's the planet he's now going to go to with Baby Yoda, Grogu. I'll eventually pick one name. Can't for now. It appears in some comics in canon. Very, very strong sense of the Force there. I believe, I don't know if this is canon or if this is Legends, because remember, Legend stuff doesn't technically work with what we're seeing, but these were in books for years and all that. I know it's a tough place to go if you're not a Jedi. Like, it's that strong. So I don't know how Mando's going to survive there or how he's going to fare there. But it is very strong with the Force. Darth Vader's been there before. There are a lot of connections. That's a planet we're going to see soon. Other Easter eggs, the HK-87 assassin droid. That's the first time we've seen that specific version, but HK assassin droids we saw dating back to Knights of the Old Republic video game. Another thing that's referenced quite often in The Mandalorian, we saw LOTH cats, the little cat that made a shrieking noise. That is not surprising that Filoni put a loth cat in his episode.
Oh yeah,
That's like
he's a cat guy.
that's like Ron Howard putting Clint Howard in all of his. Like Dave Filoni's going to have to put loth cats into everything he directs. We did see Ahsoka's owl. She has an owl.
Yeah.
Or owl bird. It's an owl. Morai, we saw very briefly in the top left corner of the screen when Mando's looking for her. That's how you kind of know she's. So if you saw that first, you knew she was right around the corner. But a very important bird. It's one of the last things we see at the end of Clone Wars. We see Darth Vader find some Ahsoka artifacts or something on a snow planet that she had crashed on, and we saw the owl flying above. That's the last thing we saw in the Clone Wars series. So that owl is a very key piece, and keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for it in this series, because if you see that owl, something's about to happen.
So, like, she's kind of like your guardian angel in a little sense. So you're going to see her a lot in anything involving Ahsoka.
Another droid we saw, the 8D series, the SMELTER droid. That's like the torture droid from Jabba's palace. He was just walking around the city.
Just chilling.
He was going to do some. He's had some oblos. He was going to do some chores. Like I don't know. Like he was there. They walked by briefly. He got a good chuckle out of that. Cameos. Michael Biehn played Kyle Reese. Terminator has been in plenty of movies, but Kyle Reese, I would imagine, is one of the first things that comes to people's mind. He played Lang.
Terminator, Alien, definitely one too.
Yeah. We heard he was in it.
I guess.
We heard he was in it. We didn't know what. I love that they continue to go back to these older characters or older actors and stuff from like different movies and series that you'll recognize from more nostalgic things. He played the character Lang. Diana Lee Inosanto played the magistrate. She's has done a lot of stunt work over the years, which you could tell she's very good at fighting in this episode. And then you had the one villager that Mando kept running into. This was a weird one. Not a weird one, but I was surprised by who it was.
This is cool.
It's Wing Ti Chow, who is a Disney legend. And a Disney legend means it's somebody who's a very important person in the history of Disney. He basically invented the shape of the Disney Cruise Line. He helped start Euro Disney, Hong Kong Disneyland. He is a very famous Disney force and Imagineer, and he played the character in this episode.
And they named the character after him too. The villager was called like now Governor Wing, I think.
Crazy. I did not think that was
good for him. It's like a lifetime achievement award.
Well, there's a good documentary.
Go do a Star Wars.
There's a documentary series on Disney Plus that talks about the history of like Disney and the parks and everything, and he's in it quite a bit. And he actually talks about some of the shitty designs they got for the cruise lines. And I thought I recognized him, but there is not a world in which I would have guessed that's who it was.
Crazy.
It's a good watch. So those
He's
Easter
like
eggs,
a wholesome character. He kept looking at Mando and being giving the thank you nod, you know?
Yeah.
This is the question everyone has. Who trained Baby Yoda? Who took him from the temple? Who is going to find him? Luke, very much alive and searching for Jedi right now. And there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of rumblings that Luke might be in this series. A lot of rumblings. How? I don't know. Mark Hamill to play a character that much younger again after playing a character older? I don't know. There's always been rumors of characters or people,
Sebastian
actors,
Stan, baby.
Sebastian Stan that look like Luke.
Stan, yeah.
I don't know if we'll see Luke. Ezra makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that Ezra Bridger, which is another character that we will get into eventually if you don't know Ezra, if Ezra shows up. There's also been a lot of rumblings that Mace Windu might pop up, that Mace Windu is alive and might pop up.
That's been rumors for that forever, man.
Yeah. There's
no
always
fucking chance.
Even he's teased it at Star Wars Celebration, all the conventions, like, I think Mace is alive. But there's been rumors that there's going to be a limited series with Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu. So I don't know. I don't know which one will be the right one. I would assume Ezra is the Jedi that will go find Baby Yoda, Grogu, or will go attempt to. It makes sense because he has that connection to Grand Admiral Thrawn. But Luke showing up would make a heap of sense too. I don't know who trained him. That's a guess as good as anyone's right now for me.
I want to know who took him, and I want to know who fucking left him in the desert in a warehouse. Because I hope those are two different people. I hope whoever took him from the temple did not do the same thing, leaving with these mercs in the middle of a desert.
Every question that you just proposed there is interesting, and when it's which Jedi is going to find Yoda, I feel like it can't be Luke, because it's like, how could it be Luke? Is Luke gonna show up and say the same thing that Ahsoka said, where it's like, you're his dad, you should be with him? Because if he goes off with Luke, then is he part of the Kylo Ren temple? Oh my God, could you imagine?
Well, somebody said too,
Kylo Ren fucking killed Grogu.
Did Kylo Ren kill Baby Yoda?
Oh, that would be horrible. I mean, horrible in terms of.
I'll tell you what.
It would make me hate Adam Driver as a human being.
Just look, this is not. I don't want this to be a sequel discussion. Rise of Skywalker. I never loved the idea that Kylo Ren was redeemed because it's like, well, I just feel like we could have gone down a different path on that. Very hard to redeem Kylo Ren, and then a year or however many years later, when the show ends, have him kill Baby Yoda.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That
You
would
can't do it. You can't do it.
just
right now, even though
do that.
it's like in canon, it's before he was redeemed. Right now, in everyone's mind, he's Ben Solo. So you're right. Thank you for reassuring me that that's not going to happen. I think it'll either be Ezra or even maybe a new Jedi. I could see them introducing a new Jedi and being like, I mean, like they did with Rebels, like they made Ezra into the character that we are talking about him as today. I could see it being a new Jedi as well.
Maybe Star Killer or something. Imagine something like that. It would be sick. Sam Witwer's out there. He could do that. I don't think it would be Luke because like the main trilogy stuff, like it drives so much of everything that's happening in Star Wars. And like we've said, the one thing we really love about Mando is it incorporates the stuff from the periphery and it exists outside of that. I think if they bring in Luke in, it would kind of, shatter that illusion a little bit. And I think they're smarter than to do that. So I think it would be Ezra because then you get to bring in something that's, important to Star Wars fans and I think is easy to comprehend for people who aren't familiar with Rebels. And he's a guy who because after Kanan died, like he kind of just disappeared off the map. And he's somebody who can easily teach, I think, Yoda and is in the same sort of realm of Ahsoka where he's not like a Jedi Knight, like proper. But at the same time, he still has like the code of a Jedi.
Yeah. I think Ezra kind of makes the most sense in terms of story, but I like almost a new Jedi. Like again, like you just said, KenJac, like talking about the familiarity and talking about like the stuff we've seen before. I do like the new Jedi stuff. I don't know.
I'll say this.
There's no good answer right now, though. I think that's the intrigue.
When Baby Yoda gets put on that little seeing stone, I bet we'll hear like Mark Hamill's voice in some way, or we'll get one of those little cameos like
well, I just watched
Master Yoda or something. I don't know. Like we'll get something Rise of Skywalker-esque where Rey heard all the cool voices. We were like, oh, is that so and so? We'll get something like that.
I still think we're gonna see Yoda as a Force ghost.
I could see that as well. And I'm almost surprised that Ahsoka wasn't immediately like, let me see if I could try to talk to Jedi Master Yoda about this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he might be Yoda's bastard son at this point. That's almost confirmed.
It's like, what is Yoda gonna say? I mean, I assume Yoda has to know who this is. If he had many masters,
he was hidden,
lived at the temple. He lived there.
And we're gonna see him get hidden at some point, like we saw the Mandalorian get rescued as a child.
Agreed.
They're gonna show us the flashback sequence of maybe it's fucking Ewan McGregor, like fucking wrapping him up and boop.
Could very well have been Captain Rex too, a clone trooper. Maybe like one of the clone troopers. I don't know.
Exactly.
A lot of the Star Wars. And I know the newer video, Force Unleashed. Is that the new video game? Not the new one. The one with the red
Jedi Order.
Fallen Order, yeah.
I didn't play it, so my apologies. It's integral.
It's great,
It's not crazy integral, but it's got some storylines. A lot of storyline in that, and a lot in Clone Wars and Rebels had to do with keeping names of Jedi off lists, so they weren't found.
And he, what do you call it? Kanan, or rather, what's his name? Caleb? I forgot the name of the main character in Fallen Order. But basically, he had to suppress his powers throughout the entirety of his post-Order 66 life, and him accidentally getting his powers exposed is what kind of kicks off the whole video game. So, like, that's kind of interesting seeing how that plays up also now with Baby Yoda.
Other questions. K_Mar10 said, what happened to Sabine Wren? That is true. The last time we saw Ahsoka, she was with Sabine. Now, in that recap at the end of the Rebels, Sabine kind of does the voiceover. She mentions the Battle of Endor and Return of the Jedi. And then we see her with shorter hair. So we don't know when we saw her with Ahsoka, whether it was before A New Hope or after Return of the Jedi. But we know they were together the last time we had seen their characters in the story of Star Wars. So I don't know where Sabine Wren is. She was rumored to be in the show. We haven't seen her yet. Very heavy Mandalorian ties. I'd imagine we eventually meet her in this series.
I think she'll be in the show. I think I told maybe you guys this after we recorded 1 week. I don't believe I've said this on the Lights Camera Barstool recaps, but I have a theory about Sabine and that we will find her. She was a Mandalorian who very famously painted her armor kind of graffiti-esque. It was unlike any Mandalorian armor we've ever seen in Clone Wars or live action even before. I have a theory that she is one day going to meet our Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and paint his Beskar armor, because the entire season we've had this running theme of people seeing it and being like, oh, it's Beskar, and then trying to kill him for it. So I think maybe she'll paint it so people don't know it's Beskar, and also so they can sell some more toys when they've sold out of all of the chrome Beskar Din Djarin figures.
Even this
That's very
episode,
true.
Lang was like, nice armor. You're a hunter then, or something like that. It was like they're all after that armor, man. It'd be a good way to disguise it.
And you could see why after you see like the entire season. I feel like Beskar has been the MVP. Yeah.
Fucking a goddamn lightsaber.
At Bomga10 said, is Disney setting up spin-off series? That's a yes. We knew that already.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, there's going to be Ahsoka, Boba Fett. We already knew.
We know another female series from a timeline that we're not familiar with. That's like all we were really told about that. I think there's even a separate one that is from the creator of Russian Doll, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a lot. There are a lot of spin-off series. Ahsoka is definitely one that people have talked about. And I imagine that's where you're going to see a lot of Thrawn in there, some Ezra. So, yes, that they're definitely setting up some spin-off series as well. And then finally, at Person Likes Film says, isn't it crazy that Baby Yoda won't get trained because Anakin couldn't keep it in his trousers?
Yeah, it's kind of
so
bullshit,
true.
to be honest. Well, fucking regular Yoda couldn't keep it in his trousers either, dude. That's how Baby Yoda came to existence.
Anakin
are we thinking, like, at this point, Grogu is related to Yoda?
So I think
put a percentage on it. Everyone put a percentage on it.
I think it's 100% now because originally we thought like maybe he was
95%
or something and that would make sense.
No.
Empire made.
If he's a clone, I'm counting that as correct.
But he was in the temple, so I think he has to be.
I don't think he's a clone because, like KenJac said, he was in the temple like at the same time as Yoda. Yoda
a
was
relative
a
or something.
He was training.
Yeah,
Yoda creamed. Yoda absolutely creamed. Like that is an organic baby.
You think it's green? You think it's
oh yeah.
All right, we won't even talk about it. Oh, his Grogu.
Yeah, literally.
No. Predictions for next episode. I imagine Moff Gideon. I think Moff Gideon sounds like he'll be a key part of the rest of the season. Only 3 episodes left in the season, so he has to show up.
You know what's crazy is this season has been so fucking good that they showed us Boba Fett in episode 1, and I haven't felt like bring us back to Boba. Like, where is it? Like, what do you do? Like, it's been every episode. I've just been like, oh, look, we got this new thing. We got this new thing. We got this new thing. It's everything. Honestly, season 2 has been everything I wanted season 1 to be. When like everyone is saying I love season 1. I'm not saying that, but when people are like, what do you want season 2 to improve upon? It's done everything that I wanted them to do.
Are we gonna see Boba this season? I don't think we will see him again.
I think we'll get a tease in the finale or something.
Maybe I could see. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think we'll get like a Boba episode.
I think season 3 will be more like Boba Fett oriented.
There's rumors they're going to crash film and make that spin-off series.
Yeah, they said they're going to start that kind of soon, no?
Yeah.
And some people even thought that they started it, I saw.
Yeah, they thought they were starting it as early as, I think it was, I remember doing this blog, I think like 2 weeks ago, that they were going to start shooting it in 2 weeks. It might be shooting as we speak right now.
Yeah.
In fucking Tunisia or whatever. We don't even know. I think what we're going to get is he's going to do this quest to the top of the mountain, and I think like he's going to be waiting for some Jedi to come out of the mist, and instead it's going to be Moff Gideon, and we're going to get a Darksaber versus Mandalorian spear fight. I think that's what we're going to get. There's that's the reason he got that spear. It's so that he can now fight Moff Gideon with his Darksaber.
You're right.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I think that like when he brings Yoda to the top of that mountain, it's going to be a sick scene. We've seen some cool stuff in Clone Wars I'm thinking immediately of Yoda learning how to become one with the Force and turn into a Force ghost, and how he has to fight the spirit demon version of himself, and he talks to all these and ghosts. And if anything like that is transitioned into live action, we're about to get weird. We're about to get freaky, sci-fi, but I'm down for it.
Me too, dude. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see this next episode now. It's weird because I was so pumped for this one, and now I want to see this fucking, what do you call it? A pilgrimage to the top of the Jedi temple.
Yeah.
I'm fired up. That was fun as hell. It's a fucking blast. It was cool. I'm definitely gonna watch it again without taking notes, just to soak up the lightsaber duel. And it's a lightsaber Beskar duel, which is just as cool as a lightsaber duel. Got sparks and shit. That's it. If you have any comments and theories, throw them below. But another fantastic episode of The Mandalorian under the belt. Just a good ass fucking time. Star Wars being fun is a breath of fresh air. And not just like discourse and arguments and over the top like theories of who's who. I know that's what we're doing here, but like that got like a lot of it got so ugly, like the sequel trilogy, and you're like,
The
what?
sequel trilogy is like not even fun to talk about online anymore because people
No.
are so nasty about it, and they're so like,
It's
oh,
such
you
a
must
negative
it's just like,
argument.
this is fun to talk about every single week. It's fun to speculate about. It's fun to ask the questions about. It's fun to tweet with people about. Like even the stupid stuff. Like last week, the guy being in the background of the shot, Gene's guy. Like
Yeah.
Gene's
Star
dude.
Wars
That's
fans
fun.
making
That's the
making
thing,
the
it's
action
like-
figures and like it's so
It's
fun.
funny how
the-
positive the reaction is to that compared to like a Starbucks cup in fucking
I
Game
know.
of Thrones.
The theories and breakdown here, it's like, maybe it could be this guy. Maybe this guy go find baby. Where the other one, it's like no, not a fucking chance. Ray is that. God, man, Star Wars. Like we're supposed to have fun with this.
And it's
supposed to be
once a week
fun.
fun. Like that's the
Yes.
best. I'm
Mhm.
in the new mode where people tweet us every week and they say like, "Do you think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni should get a movie now?" Fuck that. Movies are great,
Yeah.
but right now Star Wars, like the power structure has been restructured. TV shows are what we're into right now. Like keep making TV shows because this is awesome. I love the world building. I think that is like such a major part of TV shows working for Star Wars is you get to world build every week. You get to show a planet like this, which we've
Mhm.
never seen. Someone said it looked like Ohio, which made me laugh so fucking hard. They're like, Corvus looks like Ohio. I was like, oh, that's mean to Ohio. Last thing before we get out of here. We're all wearing some fucking fire
yeah.
hoodies. Buy
We
some
are.
merch.
20%
It's on
off.
sale
all-
right now.
20%
If you're
off,
watching this-
motherfucker.
yeah, if you're watching this the weekend it comes out, 20% off the whole Barstool store. We got hoodies all throughout the entire store, all throughout it.
All
So
throughout.
many Mando hoodies. We're gonna come out with more too. We probably need some Ahsoka stuff.
We need some
We need to
Ahsoka
think
stuff.
of
We need a
something
Go-Gurt
Grogu.
shirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I've been thinking about the Go-Gurt parody logo. That's coming soon, I think.
We only have one more of these in studio because I'm back in Texas after next weekend for every remaining Friday. So one more of these in studio. 3 episodes left. Mandalorian. It's been a blast. Shout out to Grogu, Baby Yoda.
Our boy.
For Robbie and KenJac, I'm Jeff Lowe. We'll talk to you next time. Oh, wait. Actually, like and subscribe.
Yes, do that,
Comment
please.
below. Okay, talk to you next time.